Guys, it's going down this weekend at UFC 294 with Makhachev stepping into a rematch with Volkanovski. My partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible offer for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers who bet just $5 on any of this weekend's fights will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds or method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below and download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Can you lose a fight in your next fight you fight for a title? We've seen it happen, but do you guys swallow that down? Well, does that work real well for you? We've seen it happen. Can you lose 2 fights in a row and fight for a world title? That we have not seen happen. This is one removed. Kamaru Usman has lost his last 2 fights. He is one removed. He is in a new weight class, of which he has no ranking and has never had one. And he is in a number 1 contenders match. And I'm asking you why. It's rhetorical. It's a simple question. But I still want you to answer. I want you to have to say the words to me. I want you to have to say to me because he asked for it. In a million years, his name never would have come out of the hat, ever. If Paulo Costa pulls out, never does the name Kamaru, it wouldn't matter if they called 15 guys. They never would have called him. He wasn't in the weight class. He would have never been considered for the fight, ever. A guy coming off of 2 losses does not take on a guy coming off 8 wins. So why was Kamaru Usman given the opportunity? Why was he the first one called? Why is he in this spot this coming Saturday? Because he asked for it. Right. I just want to make this clear. Because he asked for it. Because he made noise. Because he let it be known that he wanted to do it and he was willing to do it. So when the opportunity presented itself, he's the one that got the call. Not he got the second call. Not he got the 5th call. He got the very first call. Okay, great. We're stating the obvious over here, aren't we? Okay, fine. But you have another match on this same card, which is Volkanovski versus Islam. Now, Volkanovski has made it very clear that he would like to fight Islam. He didn't make it clear that it was this date. He didn't go into the backup position as he had done before, but he did make it clear. As a matter of fact, if we wanted to go back a number of months, there was even a deal made by Dana White to Volkanovski. Go fight Rodriguez. If you win, I'm going to have Islam do something different. Eventually, we find out that's Charles. If Islam wins, if you both win at your respective weight classes, you guys still want to do it, I'll put you together. So Volk had done his part. Now you find yourself in a situation where if Volk is to beat Islam, it's very relevant that Volk did his part, letting it be known that he wanted this fight. I don't know why Benny Dariush didn't demand this fight. Benny Dariush was in a number 1 contenders match with Charles Oliveira. Charles, though he won the match, said he wasn't going to do the fight. It would fall back to Benny, and whether you agree with that argument or not, it's still an argument. It should have been made. It should have been battled out. Benny should have made it extremely clear to everybody, I'm the guy. But he never even suggested it. Never even suggested such a thing. We have other 55-pounders who've not done a whole lot to suggest it. Khamzat asked for it. Khamzat had a very controversial victory in a program that wasn't highly rated, but he still said the words. He still said, I would like to be the next guy. And within 72 hours, Khamzat was named the official backup fighter. The one thing that he did different, it wasn't winning that fight in controversial fashion. He asked for it. He let it be known. Stating the obvious, aren't I? Okay. So let's go back to Volkanovski taking on Islam. That can only go one of two ways. Volk can either win or he cannot win. There's not a third option. He becomes the world champion at 155, or he does not become the world champion at 155. So, if he captures the belt, will he be in a position, the first male ever, to have two belts simultaneously and move a division forward because he will defend them often enough? We've never seen anybody do it, but in fairness, we've never seen anybody have the opportunity to do it. Everything we know about Volk, and he has proven that his words are true, he wants to compete often. But we still are left with the problem that there's not a 45-pounder out there who has called his name. There's not a 45-pounder out there that's raising a stink that he has left and gone to 55. There seems to be a built-in belief, and I share it too, that if he wins at 55 and is forced to drop one of the belts, he will drop the 45 and keep the 55. I agree with that. I believe that. I know the worst part of this sport is beating the scale. It's the worst part. So if you're given an opportunity, it's the same opportunity, and you don't have to be as uncomfortable, it would seem you'll go up, but ultimately that will be his choice. And he might say goodbye to the 55-pound belt and go back to 45. I'm just sharing it as possible. Go back to 45 for what? I know the number one contender is. I don't want to take away from Ilia Topuria. I know that he has proven himself. And you can get other guys to prove themselves and do the same thing that Topuria did as long as you keep him away from Max Holloway, who will beat everybody out there not named Volkanovski. I don't have a big problem with it. Kamaru Usman's never fought at 185 pounds. He's coming off of 2 losses. If he wins his next fight, he will fight for a world championship against an opponent who he's previously beaten, which means a lot of people expect him to be the world champion, coming off of 2 losses in a weight class he's never been. The only ingredient that he has that none of the other 85-pounders had is he asked for it. And he let it be known. Volkanovski is at 155 pounds, a weight class where he has never won a single fight. I'm telling you that Kamaru Usman only has to win 1. He's never done it. He's got to win 1, and then he can fight for a championship. Try this on for size. Volk has never won a fight at the weight class. Oh, and by the way, he has done the weight class before. And he's still scooped all of you and is taking the opportunity. And he's not like some linguistical master, by the way. He's not out there with the great 1-2 punches on social media. He just said something. He did something. He made it known that he was willing to do it, and he wasn't bluffing, which is evident of the fact that he is getting ready to go do it. And that still won the day because it's more than any of the other 55-pounders did. And you take a look at 45. Boy, if I was there and I got a champion that doesn't even want to be here, he's the king of our division. He's the guy we count on. He's the face to bring attention to our division. He's not even interested in our division. He's looking at another one. Do you have any idea the fit that I would have thrown? And these 45-pounders are sitting around praying to God in heaven above that he wins the belt and never comes back. Living in an era right now of calling out rankings. Guys, no one knows what anyone's ranked. Who, what, when, why, and where. That's how you tell stories. Call a name. A name. Call a name. Don't do it again. And don't call for a ranking. So call a name. All right. If you don't care who you fight, there's no way that I can care who you fight. And when I say I don't just mean Chael. I mean the fan. Stop. Now, you want to be 5? And we don't care at all. Call a name. Who, what, when, why, and where. Softball right down the middle. Call a name. 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 Don't do it again. And don't call for a ranking. Call a name. the world. Call a name. It's just one of these things. Call a name. Let that be my reality and let that be yours. Call a name. Run it back. Call a name. Call a name. Call a name. Don't do it again. And don't call for a ranking. Call a name. Right? Call a name. Call a name. Call a name. Don't do it again. And don't call for a ranking. Call a name. Right. Share the octagon. Keep your placement on the card. You've done something right. A name, a name, a name, a name. We can now add the Y for you. A name. Call a name.